Hey y'all, welcome to the very first episode of what I'm calling Famous Among the Barns. My name is Sean. Just as a little bit of an introduction, I run a small newspaper in a town called Coppell, Texas. A few years ago I wrote a book called Legendary Locals of Coppell, which is okay, but it was actually the thing that I loved most about it is it gave me the chance to meet lots of people who lived in town, had lived there their whole lives, and share stories. And it was history, but it was not history in the way we normally think of it. When we normally talk about history, a lot of people talk about famous people doing big famous things, and I really wanted to explore the idea of the people that make up a place, the stories that don't always get told, but that really go a long way towards creating what a place is, which is usually so much more than just the big names and big stories. And I got to spend hours with just regular folks from the town sitting in their living rooms looking through their pictures, talking about their stories. And that led to me writing for the newspaper before I actually started running the paper, and I started running a small column called It Happened in Coppell, where I would tell stories from the town's history that people didn't know. And so I'm actually building this channel on kind of the bones of an old vlog that I used to run about 3 years ago, where I would tell those stories in video form, and it was called It Happened in Coppell. If you go back to earlier videos, if you look on the channel, you can see those. Each episode was only like a couple minutes long, and I would tell a little bit of a story. So I'm just kind of taking that where I wanted to explore history, and some of it might deal with more famous people, but a lot of it's going to deal with, you know, not known stories, and explore those and discover them and share them, because I have a passion for them. I've always grown up learning and listening to stories, family stories, the stories of friends, and I think those little out-of-the-way stories are really what give any place character and flavor and meaning and depth. And so I just want to find stories, share them with folks, and I figured what better place to start than on Route 66, which you can see right behind me, the Mother Road, the most famous road in American history. I'm here near Arcadia, Oklahoma, and let's go find some history. So where we are, this little building, if you see, it says Historical Building, Route 66. And it is pretty run down now. Now, this apparently was built around the 1920s, and it was a filling station. Let's see, we've got this little bit of paper showing some of the history. It was one of the last old gasoline filling stations, and it looks like, from what it says here, it was built in the late teens or the early 20s, and it had 2 gas pumps, one for regular gas and one for ethyl. But I think what's interesting about this place, oh, that's nice. Look, you can see a little bit of there's like a little flower garden building in some of the remains, is it wasn't just a gas station. Somewhere along the line, and I think it might say some here about when, maybe like in the 30s, it also became a counterfeiting operation. So it was a gas station, and it sold things like sodas, and, you know, obviously people could stop and get gas here. But it also became a counterfeiter operating out of the building. It's almost hard to imagine where they would have operated, because you can see the entire thing right here. And I'd love to learn more of the history. You know, if it was built in the teens, if they were counterfeiting in the 30s, it's obviously very hard times in the United States, would have been right in the Depression. And the counterfeiting operation apparently didn't last incredibly long. You can see how small this place is, and it's, for as old as it is, it's really well kept up, not falling apart that much as you might expect. But right off Route 66, let's see what it says here. The way the counterfeiting done was that they would press one of the plates on a piece of paper with green ink on it, then let that side dry 24 hours and print the black side of the bill the next day. Things went fine for a time, but while passing one of the fake $10 bills, one of the persons was arrested, and with him the ID where he lived. He was traced to the old station. While searching the building, the counterfeit plates were found. The person being taken to jail was overheard to say it wasn't worth it. And the filling station closed and was never opened again. And then it says the old station was closed many years later, which had nothing to do with the counterfeiting. A murder victim was found in the old abandoned building. Police were unable to determine whether he was killed here or the body just dumped. The victim was never ID'd. And so, really kind of sordid history for this place. Not only was it a filling station, but a counterfeiting station, and then a murder was committed and the body was dumped here. And what's interesting is the history doesn't say anything about who it was that owned it or ran the station. So that would be fascinating. If anyone knows more about it, leave in the comments, and I'm going to look into it, see what I can find out as well. So I think that's a good place to stop for now. This is just a small little place on Route 66. Just down the road, there is the Arcadia Historic Round Barn and Pops, a filling station with like every type of soda that you can imagine. A while back I used to be part of a vlog with my wife called the Marceline Depot, and we actually did a video in Pops and the Arcadia Round Barn, and I'll put a link to that down in the description. But I just wanted to share this with you guys. It's such a small, out-of-the-way building. It'd be so easy to miss if you were just cruising by, and yet so many dramatic things happened here. So thanks for coming with me, thanks for liking, commenting, subscribing, and keep looking for stories.